We have Steve for Alma Waterways, and Steve has done a couple of presentations for us in September on a couple of different Rhine and Danube options. We decided to try to do a little different one tonight. We're concentrating on the Christmas markets, and we have group space on a December 2022 sailing.
Right.
Itinerary looks great. Christmas markets, we've had people do a land trip in the Christmas markets and they loved them. And so why not do it via a river cruise? So take it away, Steve.
Okay, so yes, thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Tony. This is our third presentation we've done together. You've done an excellent job on the other two, getting people signed up for your group events. And I love what you did here by taking some space on something far out in 2022, December of 2022. Christmas markets are great for families and great time of year. And also it's a time of year that's off peak, right? So, pricing wise, really good on the pocketbook. The cruise is discounted, the air is discounted, and Tony was able to get a really good rate out of our group department. So we'll look at the itinerary quickly tonight. It's not that long a presentation. And then if you have any questions, we can answer your questions. I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Everybody can see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So everyone's familiar with Longwood Travel. They know who you guys are. You're in Wilmington. And I love working with you, so this is going to be fun. And is everyone on the call, has the people on the call been on our presentation before? They know about our ships and what a river cruise ship is?
I think, Wayne, weren't you on the first one in September?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I didn't put a lot of product into the presentation. I didn't want to be redundant. I have just the one slide here on the ship. This is the Amalea. She's one of our newer builds. And this is the series of ships. The sister ships of the Amalea would be on the Danube River at this time of year. It is a ship that was built in the last 2 years, holds 156 passengers. Most of the staterooms, 3/4 of the staterooms have twin balconies and range between 205 to 235 square feet. So good sized staterooms. 2 restaurants on board, 55 crew member to the 156 guests. Just a beautiful ship, a beautiful series of ship, very high tech, very comfortable. You can't even hear the engines when they're turning over. You can't, you can barely tell we're sailing. It's that efficient in the water, right? So this is what you'd be sailing on. And then we'll go right into Christmas markets. So Christmas markets back in the day was sort of just this niche time of year where, people from North America would go to Europe to see how the old country, people in the old country celebrated Christmas, or how they decorated, or what the festivities were like. So it's become, over the last 10 or 15 years, though, a little bit of a bigger deal. We dedicate 6 weeks to the Christmas markets at the end of our sailing season. We do Christmas markets on the Rhine River, and we do Christmas markets on the Danube River. And we have 3 ships on the Danube and 4 ships on the Rhine, I believe. So 7 different itineraries. So it's sort of grown for us. It's a niche market still, but a bigger niche. I think because you get to travel with family and friends, because it is a discounted time of year where it's much less money. But here you see, this is actually one of our owners. This is Christine Karst, who's originally from Germany. Getting some feedback from somebody there. Somebody got the TV on in the background? Can't tell. No? Okay. So this is typically what you'd see. So generational travel. So this is one of our owners, Christine. She's originally from Dresden, Germany. And she's with her mom next to her, and she's with her adult children on either side of her. And this is what you sort of see during the Christmas markets. You see more family travel, more generational travel, and we welcome that. Okay.
Where's this feedback?
Let's see. I don't know.
Want to just mute everybody for a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll do
if that
that.
helps?
I'm going to do that now. Okay, I think we're good. So I'll go through this. I want you to get a feel for what the Christmas markets are and what the expectations are. You can see here, these are just regular pictures of our actual guests and our crew. The crew gets dressed up. The ship is completely decorated head to toe for Christmas. Um, the staff wears the caps and they sing Christmas carols to our guests. They have a swap. They do a lot of different games. They do things on board that make people feel included. You see the children get to celebrate as well. But the real purpose of this is to visit the actual Christmas markets. At the end of each excursion, at the end of each afternoon, we'll bring you to the various Christmas markets as we sail along the rivers. And it's just rubbing elbows with the locals, celebrating the holidays with the locals, eating what they eat, drinking what they drink, taking great pictures, shopping. We'll look at some of the shopping. Here's how the cuisine changes as we get closer to the Christmas season. So, with a river cruise, all of your meals are included. We do tastings off the ship. Your beer and wine is included when you're sailing. We do wine tastings off the ship. But at Christmas time or during the holiday season, which is right around from our Thanksgiving, the last week of November, right through to the new year. Those are the 6 weeks that we're sailing here. You can see here, top left going across, you've got the traditional German Christmas goose. You've got in the middle, you've got Stollen. Stollen is really a wonderful sort of like a fruit bread. It's got dried fruit and nuts and confectionery sugar on top, and you slice it up like pastry. It's really good. It's one of my favorite things that time of year. Top right is what's called Glühwein. Glühwein is a heated spiced wine that's served at Christmas time. It's got fruits. You can see that the middle down slide is some of the spices and dried fruits that go into the Glühwein. You got cinnamon and some other spices, and you've got the citrus there. And it's a nice. It warms you up. We usually serve it when you get back onto the ship after you've been out all day. Maybe you're a little cold, and we serve as you're coming onto the ship. We're serving glasses of Glühwein. Also, when you're out and about and the Christmas markets, you can get these nice mugs. Each Christmas market has a mug that shows you where you are, like the Christmas market in, say, Vienna, the Christmas market in Budapest. And you save those mugs and you can bring them home, and you collect. A lot of people collect those mugs, but you'll get Glühwein in those mugs. Okay, so that's a very popular treat. Lower left is the famous German Black Forest chocolate cake, and that is like a 4 or 5 layer chocolate sponge cake. This is this is serious stuff now, and it's stuffed with cherries, and it's real whipped cream, cherries, and chocolate sponge cake. It is to die for. Okay, I'm not going to lie and say that it's good for your diet or anything like that, but you have to try this. It's phenomenal. And then lower right is typical of what you'd see in a Christmas market, in that you go to these markets and it's, during normal seasons, it's just elbow to elbow with people walking around, drinking wine, drinking beer, listening to live music, shopping at the outdoor markets, the stalls, and you smell the food, right? This is typical of what you see, all this grilled meat, grilled sausage, grilled beef. And this is one of my favorite things. You'll always find me near a grill, a hot grill with meat on it. I'll have a beer in one hand and a big like kielbasa or something in the other hand. And to me, for me personally, that's a Christmas market for me. So a lot of good culinary experiences there. Now, with regard to what you gentlemen have done, I believe it was Tony who picked the actual itinerary and the date. The date is perfect. You are right in the middle. You're smack in between. It's December 5th, 2022. So you're smack, that's the departure date. You're smack in the middle. You're after our Thanksgiving, and you're far enough in front of Christmas or New Year's that people won't worry so much about being out of the country during that time period. Um, so it's a really sweet spot date, and it's a wonderful itinerary. It's on the Danube River. So let's look at some of the destinations there. This is what it looks like on a map. There's the opportunity. It's a 7-night cruise. You can stay, you start in Budapest, and Tony will sell you the package of a 2-night package in, if you like, optional, in Budapest, the 7-night cruise, and then the option to do 3 nights in Prague, in the Czech Republic, a beautiful historic city. And the neat thing here is that our staff, our cruise director, will be, if you do the pre and the post, they will meet you at the hotels, and they'll host you at the hotels as well, not just on the ship, but we take care of you on the land as well. So it's Budapest, Vienna. You can see the stops with the dots. Budapest, Vienna, Austria, Melk, Salzburg, Austria, Bernstein, Passau, Regensburg. There's some other stops here too. So it's Hungary, Slovakia, Austria, Czech Republic, and Germany. So it's 5 countries in 7 days, or perhaps 10 days or 12 days, depending on how you book it. Okay. So I really love this itinerary for that reason. Here's Budapest. You can see how the cities and towns then are transformed, just like going into Boston, say, at a normal Christmas anyway, and see all the lights and the festivities and people out and about, people shopping, people listening to bands, things like that. Budapest is a lovely, it is the capital city of Hungary. It's Buda and Pest, the 2 sides of the Danube River, the Buda side and the Pest side. It's a lovely walking city. No need for any coaching. Not a lot of vehicular traffic. It's mostly pedestrian streets, pedestrian walkways. There's several Christmas markets here. So we do our standard excursions, and then we would bring you to a Christmas market, and then you're sort of on your own to just do what you want. You can shop, you can eat, you can do what you want. And you can get on and off the ship as many times as you like. You can get back after dinner, after lunch, you can go back in and see the Christmas markets again. Here's Vienna. Vienna is the capital city of Austria. Vienna probably has the most Christmas markets along the Danube. I think there's 6 or 7 major markets. We include stops or visits to 2 of the markets. Okay. We think that the 2 that we choose are the 2 most popular, interesting markets. Here, this is actually a good image in that it shows you from a distance when we say the stalls. So they're like, the vendors, the businesses, the vendors, they bring their goods out. They have these stalls. The stalls, the one to the left looks to me from here like you have breads and cheeses. And then the one to the right, I can't really tell exactly what that is. Might be bakery, baked goods, something like that. But this is the theme of it. It's like going to a big market, and everyone's jovial and everyone's in a good mood, and people are drinking and people are shopping and listening to music, like I said, and you just wander around. It is great fun. And there's no cost to get in or out of these markets. You can go in the afternoons. They start late morning and they end at around 9 o'clock at night. Okay. But again, this is not in lieu of our excursions where we're taking you to different, to the museums or the opera house. We're doing visits to places that's included. And then when we're done with that excursion, we'd leave you or bring you to the Christmas market, always with either being close to the ship, or we'll collect you a little later and maybe put you on a transfer back to the ship, depending on what town or city we're in. This is Salzburg. So on this day, we're actually going to go up just to the foothills of the mountains on this day. Salzburg is up in the mountains a bit, up on the foothills. And just about an hour and a half from the river. It's a lovely drive, especially this time of year. I know exactly where this is. I've been to Salzburg many times. And outside of Christmas market season, this would be just a lovely open square with some statues and some beautiful things. But you can see now the stalls. So that temporarily for 6 weeks, they've set up these stalls. You can see that huge Christmas tree there, all the lights. And this sort of becomes the theme now, in that people are comparing Christmas markets. They have regionally, they have contests, who has the prettiest Christmas market, who has the best tree. So there's a lot of competition that goes back and forth between the different towns and cities. Um, and then similarly, I mentioned earlier, like um, some of the trinkets, some of the gifts that you can buy, people collect. They'll say, you know, Salzburg Christmas Market 2020. People collect stuff like that. If it's a Glühwein mugs, like a coffee mug, people collect those. There are little German Christmas ornaments. Christmas pyramids is one thing that people collect. Um, what is the other one that they make? Prune people. They make the prune people out of dried prunes, and they put like little sticks through them, and they make these weird looking. You'd never tell they were made out of prunes, but people collect this stuff. I kid you not. But this is it's a theme. It's a tradition. It's part of their culture. It's fun. I have a lot of my and our company obviously has a lot of German Americans in it. So I have a lot of colleagues here in the US, and they would be very proud to show you their Glühwein mug collection or their Christmas pyramid collection, things like that, things you can buy. And they're not large items. You can easily bring them back and forth. For myself, when I'm traveling with my wife, we do like to collect handmade Christmas ornaments. These are great places to buy little well-crafted wooden handmade Christmas ornaments for our tree when we come home. It's one of the things we like to do. They're not expensive. They're easy to pack and to bring home. So everybody has something a little different that they like to do or buy or eat or taste when they're at these markets. This is Passau, Germany. This is a beautiful walking city of about 400,000 people. One of the prettiest, it's not a big city, but one of the prettiest cities along the Danube, and some great hiking paths and walking paths here. And we've got plenty of different excursions that you can take on the day that we're in Passau, and then a very nice Christmas market as well. Regensburg is a much smaller town, almost like a medieval village here. This is the town square. This is typically where the markets would be set up, and this is a much smaller Christmas market, but very nice. And I think you get a better feel because it's not as busy, not as much hustle bustle, and so you have more time to walk around and talk to people and so on. Very pretty town. Most of these buildings here are from the 1600s. There's the town hall is there. There's a castle to the back right. It's just a really, really pretty town, worthwhile. You get a lot of great photo opportunities when you visit here. Then Nuremberg. So now, last stop along the river for us during the week. Nuremberg, a lot of rich history in Nuremberg, obviously. This is a really jazzed up Christmas market. They're very proud of their Christmas market here. They win a lot of awards. Look at the architecture in the background. Look how everything's lit up. It's almost like it's a big festival, right? So it's a big party. So this is sort of the theme. This is what it is. It's not, some people think Christmas markets, it's a Christian thing. It's not really. It's like going into Boston at Christmas time. It's like going into Rockefeller Center in New York City around Christmas time. You're looking at the lights, you're looking at the trees, you feel the energy in the crowd, and there's a lot of things to do. And like I keep repeating myself, but it's true. Great food, great things to drink, fun music, fun people. I like to shop. And just meet people. That's what Christmas markets is. And if you're traveling with friends or family, that is really what makes it special. You're traveling with your spouse, you're traveling with your kids, you're traveling with your grandkids. It's a really cool experience. So that's really what the Christmas markets are about. This is just a quick snapshot of Prague, the center of Prague. We do a 3-night post stay in Prague. If you don't have the time to do the pre and the post, my recommendation, I love Budapest, but we get to see it for a day on the ship. We spend a day in Budapest the first day of the cruise, but Prague is not on the river. So it's like an hour and a half drive north to get to Prague. I would recommend you do, if you're going to do one or the other, I would do Prague. It is one of the most beautiful cities in all of Europe. Very interesting, very historic, incredible architecture, great shopping. I love this photograph. I love, looking down on the crowd there. You've got the tree there in the front. You can see some of the stalls across the street, and and the cathedral in the background behind the buildings. That is just a cool shot. That's a really nice photograph, and all of Prague is like that. It is really one of the best cities in all of Europe. So um, glad that's included. And then we always, sort of just throw in some insider tips so that people understand how they should be traveling, how to pack, what to wear, so on and so forth. You're going to dress in layers this time of year. If you're there in December, I've been there late December. Usually, if it wasn't, I go there every year Christmas time because it's part of my business. I usually go between Christmas and New Year's. We usually go on the last cruise of the year as a company. Um, and it's usually, the weather is usually what it is here right now. It's usually in the 30s, lower to middle 30s. You might get a couple of balmy days where it reaches 40. Doesn't get too cold. You do get some snow from time to time, but along the river, the snow doesn't typically stick to the ground that long or stay on the ground that long. If you go up to Salzburg, you go up into the mountains, of course, you'll have some snow there. Um, and then what to buy, what handcraft things to buy. I mentioned the Nutcracker, which well, the Nutcracker is the German soldier figures, all right, and then they have the prune people, and they have Christmas pyramids, which are these wooden. They're made in layers, and they almost look like bird cages. They're very ornate. They're very pretty, and they're anywhere from this big. They can get very big. If you go online and you look up. You look these up online, you can see you can spend hundreds of dollars for them in really nice stores. But we're talking about stuff that's just in these markets that maybe be 10, 20, 30 euros. Um, so a lot of really neat things to look at, to purchase. Lebkuchen, that's listed here, is a German fruit bread. It's sort of like fruitcake. It doesn't have rum in it, but it's similar to fruitcake. I would say it's much better than fruitcake. The other things to remember here is that when you're traveling on a river cruise and you're visiting these stalls, you want to carry some local cash with you, meaning euros. You want to travel with some euros and cash. If you're making a big purchase at a store, of course they'll take your credit card, they'll take your ATM card, what have you. But when you're going from stall to stall, you want to buy a beer, you want to buy a glühwein, you want to buy a little, some little tchotchkes. You're just going to be giving people, 3, 4, 5 euros. So you want to carry some cash. The fact that we are a family-oriented company, we do have connecting staterooms. Sometimes we get grandparents traveling without their adult children, and they're bringing the grandchildren. So we skip a generation. So we do have connecting staterooms if you're coming with young adults and you want to make sure they stay out of trouble, things like that. So these are some of the tips that we have for you. And then just some more photos. These are actual guests on board. Top right is one of my bosses with some guests. Bottom right is some of my colleagues. Top left, 2 ladies that traveled with a colleague of mine last 2019, and then some other young ladies having fun in the snow. And then just I like the bottom, the center bottom, because that is typical of what you would see when I say, buying small, those are ornaments you could hang on trees there, things like that. Those are easy. They're not expensive. They're easy to bring back. I don't have to worry about them breaking in my luggage or, things like that. They're wrapped properly. I can bring them back, bring some bubble wrap with you, and you can bring things home. Not a big deal. You didn't spend a lot of money. You got some really neat things that are unique to this area of Germany or Austria, let's say. And you got some nice things. You have some nice ornaments for your tree when you come home. And then I mentioned this early on, but this makes it really worthwhile here, is that we have this offer, the holiday triple savings offer, which typically expires at the end of a calendar year. For us at Alma Waterways, that expired on the 31st of December last week. But Tony is a pain in the scooch. He's a scooch, and he got after our group people and had them extend that offer of $1,000 off per person and a complimentary stateroom upgrade based on availability and an additional $50 per person onboard credit, which comes in handy. So that is a wonderful offer. And what that means basically is if you can, he's got that extended, I believe, to the end of January, right? Right, Tony? End of January. And if somebody puts down a deposit of $400 per person, they will earn $1,000 off of a balcony stateroom. $1,000 off a balcony stateroom. So great offer, something to think about. And then that's it. I told you guys this was a pretty light presentation. You can unmute yourselves and we can have a discussion.
Okay,
Thank you.
unmuted.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
When you say the complimentary upgrade based on availability, is that at time of booking or based on when you arrive at the ship, or how's that work?
It's supposed to work at time of booking, not when you arrive at the ship, but I'll double check that for you.
Just wondering.
Yeah, let's make sure we're on the same page on that. Okay. I'll find out for you. And again, you're looking at the time of year that's already, because it's the very end of the season, it's already off by 35% of our peak rates. So to get another $1,000 off there is pretty serious. It's a pretty good offer. Any questions about the cruise or the ship or the staff or how it works or how the land works, anything like that? Anything you guys want to talk about?
Steve, question on, you said the timing of the markets is you usually would be in there late afternoon, early evening after some of the other tours.
Right, exactly. And sometimes it depends where we are, what where we are nautically on the river. Sometimes it's in the evenings. And for these cruises, Wayne, we're always encouraging people, because we do have entertainment on the ship every night. But at this time of year, we're usually recommending to people, because in most cases, we're like 2 blocks from the center of the town or the city. So we're saying, go back in and have some more fun at the Christmas markets. If we finish dinner at a certain time and you have plenty of time to get back in there, we do that too. But we give people plenty of opportunities. There's a couple of like in Vienna, we're there overnight, and you could actually go to 2 different markets.
Okay.
Okay.
Most of your cabins are full stateroom, full let me see, sliding glass doors going out into a balcony versus the bottom of the ship with the tiny window looking up.
Right. So the bottom on these ships, on this class of ships, it's only the lower, the first level has 12 staterooms that have just the rectangular windows. The rest of the ship have 2 balconies, one with a sliding door and one with a door that opens out that you can sit outside. Now, again, it's later in the year, you could still sit outside, but the key is that you have a much bigger stateroom and you have 2 balconies.
Okay.
But and then listen, a lot of people buy the main deck balconies because it's less money. And at that time of year, people say, well, I'm not going to really sit outside anyway. As an employee, when I go that time of year, I'm usually in one of the main deck staterooms, right? So it's not that it's that much smaller. It just doesn't have, it's got a much smaller window, much smaller view, right? So, so everybody's different, I guess is my point. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gentlemen, anything you want to add?
Looks wonderful.
Yeah, but that $1,000, isn't it off the balconies?
It's off the balconies. So you guys understand, the cat D and E, the non-balconies, they're only like $2,200 a person. So if you take $1,000 off of them, it's
right.
So we do it.
It's really good.
The real value add is getting a nice stateroom and knocking $1,000 off of it. is
Correct.
real valuation. That's the idea, right?
I have an important question. If someone wasn't going to the Christmas markets on the Danube, but they were going, let's say, in April, is that person going to be able to find the Black Forest cake?
Actually, you can.
Oh, God, thank you.
You can, because, and I did this presentation before Christmas with an agent who's up in, where is she? Manchester by the Sea. And she's originally from Germany. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. She scolded me a little bit when I did this presentation. She said, Stephen, that Black Forest cake is served year round. That is not really traditionally a Christmas cake. And I said, I know, but it looks so good. I had to put it in the slide.
All right, I'll still go.
You
Okay.
can get that year round, but it is a wonderful cake. I absolutely, everything in that slide I've had. No, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Glühwein. It's just I don't like wines that are that sweet. It's almost like sangria that's been warmed up. If I had to,
Okay.
right? If I had to, I can do a glass of it. I think it's kind of like eggnog. Everybody likes to have a glass of eggnog. Some people love it though. They just love it. I'm more of a beer guy. If I'm outside or something, I think I think about beer, especially in Germany and Austria. But everything else that was on that slide, the grilled meat and the goose is phenomenal, and that cake was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like 1,000,000 calories, but don't think about it. That's what I'd have to say to you.
Exactly.
It's my God. And the whipped cream even is like, you can't find that stuff here. So it is, again, you're talking to somebody who does this every year as part of what I do for work, and I have a very good job. I mean, I like my job because of this. I get to do this every year with colleagues. Sometimes I get to go with my family. And honestly, the weather is, we're in New England. The weather's fine. It's kind of mild actually, compared to what we normally get here. So it's a great product. It's a great time of year. It's a great itinerary. And again, Tony, when I saw that you got it extended, I was just looking through some emails as I was prepping for this last week, and I was looking through some of your emails, and I saw that you got this for January, the offer, and I said, "Oh, this is great. I'm going to put the slide in about the $1,000 off." So good for you. I hope it works out for you guys. Let me know if you have any other questions, if I can do anything else for you.
Excellent.
Okay.
We'll hear from you tomorrow, right, Rain?
Will you be posting two things? Will this thing be put on a link to review again?
Yep.
Yeah.
And secondly, Tony, you'll be posting, the actual itinerary
I'll send you that again.
and the categories and so on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. You can have a beer when you go down there because I haven't had a beer since last year.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll
Sounds
send you
good.
everything, Wayne. I'll send you everything.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Anybody else want a cabin?
I'm good right
Okay.
now.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wayne.
Thank you very much, guys.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.
Okay, have a good night.
Okay.
All righty. Good night,
Thanks,
guys.
Steve.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.